So what are the most important lessons that you've learned on the battlefield?
How you view life and how you deal with stress, how you can combat and overcome your fears. I think this is something I took away.
Quorum Radio, baby.
Right now, if you had to look at the most dangerous adventures you had in the war,
yeah,
which ones would they be?
Yeah, I think the most dangerous, that was my first battle. You know, the first one time I really came under a lot of fire. That was in Mostar in Bosnia and Herzegovina, and my brigade, we were attacking, they were fighting against the Bosniaks, against the Muslims at the time. And we had to make an attack on, that was some kind of industrial area. There was a refinery for oil and a lot of railroad tracks. And we went there in the area during the night. And we came through a village and there was nobody. And we thought it's all empty. We didn't know why they sent us there to fight. There was no enemy. But then when the sun went up, the enemy, they were hidden in hidden camouflage positions, and they were practically all around us. And when it was daylight, they started shooting at us with everything, with snipers, with RPGs, you know, machine guns. And then we had nowhere to go, you know, there was no cover. And I was in a little trench, but we couldn't stay there. And then we had to run over an open field without cover, maybe 200 meters. And when I went out of the trench, I was already the first dead guy, you know. That was the first dead, killed soldier I saw in my life, you know.
Yeah.
And then really they were shooting from everywhere, you know. And I saw so many people from my platoon. We were about 21, 22 guys. 7 died practically in half an hour, you know.
Wow.
And then 2 other guys died. Then we lost a sniper. And practically, when the whole thing was over, almost half of my platoon got killed, you know. So that was really hard, you know. Yeah, that was bad, you know. And but that was my first battle, you know. And then I thought to myself, if that continues like that, you know, we will never come out of the war alive, you know. But that was really maybe bad luck, because, I mean, normally, I've been in several battles later, but never like this, you know. That was really extreme, you know. And then really the next week we were just on the cemetery and burying people, burying our people. Every day we had to bury 2 or 3 people, you know. That was hard also for your, how you say, for your soul, you know. When you lose so many people, you know, they were your friends and then they're gone. And then 4 days later, we lost another 2 soldiers, you know. They were driving in a car and an artillery grenade hit the car, you know, and then they were there too. So, and then the army said, okay, they said to our platoon, you are out now, you know. They took us out of the front line. I mean, there wasn't enough soldiers left anyway. And then they sent us to the seaside for 1 week, gave us money, we were in a hotel, and we drank 1 week. That was okay on the beach, but then we had to go back, you know. It was also a bad day, you know, when you come out of such a battle, then you go to the seaside, and, you know, after 1 week, you have to go back to the front lines, you know. That was really the last day on the seaside. That was very strange atmosphere, I would say, you know.
Yeah, who wants
that was tough time. You know,
who wants to?
Really I mean, and I was young, you know, I was inexperienced, you know. Later
How old were you at that time?
Yeah.
How old were you?
Later on, if you, in Kosovo, it's the same would have happened. In Kosovo, I would have shrugged maybe. You know? I said, okay, let's continue, you know, another day. But if that's your first battle, you know, that's extreme. I mean, how many people lose half of their platoon in their first battle, you know? That was
so
tough.
So how old were you when you started to be, when you were a soldier? I mean,
I joined the German army with 17.
How many years were you in the German
70,
army?
I was 7 years. I needed some special, because normally you have to be 18. But my father gave it to me. My mother, they both had to sign a letter, and then I joined the German army. And then Bosnia, I was 22 when I joined the war in Bosnia.
Wow. And so, it's kind of unusual. You grew up in Germany, right?
Yeah.
So why did you decide to fight in the war in the Balkans?
For several reasons. First of all, when I was in the German army, they didn't go on foreign missions, So I was, as you know, I was a paratrooper, and we were training for combat. We had all these commando courses. We did everything, but then what? I think if you are a professional soldier, then at least you need some combat experience,
Sure.
So when I joined the Croats. It was really first for combat experience, not to help them. I don't want to lie here, I'm not that. I had nothing to do with the Croats, with the cause. But after a while, when I've been fighting there and when I saw what the Serbs were doing, all the atrocities, the mass murders, and then I realized that you can't go back anymore. They were my comrades then, and you can't leave your comrades alone. So I stayed there, And then later in Kosovo, it was basically the same like with the Croats, because we were fighting for a just cause, That's why America helped the Kosovars, why they bombed the Serbs, because they realized that this was a good thing to do.
Yeah.
As you know, that was one of the few things in American politics where Republicans and Democrats were all on the same side. One of the biggest supporters of the Kosovo Liberation Army was Mitch McConnell. At the same time, Bill Clinton was supporting them too. This is almost unimaginable today. But those were the times.
Wait, so it was Clinton? Who else did you say was supporting?
Mitch McConnell. Yeah, I imagine that. Hillary Clinton, Mitch McConnell, voting for the same cause.
Yeah, sure.
Well, yeah, but Mitch was really a big supporter. He wanted to give the KLA weapons from the very first day, That was, and then Bob Dole, of course, he was a big supporter of the Albanian cause.
Mm-hmm.
From all the sides, from all angles. American politicians from all angles, they supported the Kosovo Liberation Army, and everybody knows that in Kosovo. They're still grateful,
Yeah, well, the what bothered us was that in World War I, we got in the war very late. 1917, we had a lot of zeal, a lot of I would say a lot of enthusiastic soldiers, a lot of desire. I think we made a huge difference.
Yeah.
And then they saw what happened in World War II, and I think that American elites say, "Oh, well, we don't want another World War II in our hands.
Yeah.
We don't want another spark to ignite the Balkans again."
Yeah.
So we thought around the time at the collapse of the Soviet Union, we thought, well, we better get involved because we don't know what's going to happen if we don't. So I think that was driving us.
Yeah, you're right. I think the Americans, if you want to do something, you have to do it immediately or don't do it at all. It's always bad when they go there, like in Bosnia. In Bosnia, the Americans, they intervened very late. When it's almost too late. And then when the Kosovo War broke out, they were much quicker. Because they saw if we do something, we do it now. If we wait another 10, it's nothing. Nobody left we can help, So it's the same, I think,
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to intervene, you should do it right away,
Right. So, and Bartetzko, your last name, what's the origin of Bartetzko?
It's my father's family is from Upper Silesia. That was a part of Germany which was lost during Second World War. And it's now part of Poland. Yeah, but
Poland now, Prussia.
But it's originally, it's like it's Prussia. It's a part of Prussia. And Bartetzko, they are actually many Americans in California with the name Bartetzko surname. It's
really,
yeah. It's not the most common name there, of course, but there are a lot of Bartetzko there, and in Australia and France too. So in Germany, it's not so common, but it's I think it's a Slavized how you say, it was the original name was Bartolome, which is a German name. And then when the people they mingled in the East, they gave it a Slavic sound, you know. There are a lot of names like this in German, like Nowitzki, maybe you know this Dirk Nowitzki, the basketball player from Dallas. You know, this Nowitzki, Bartetzko, they had these names, the people from eastern side of Germany, you know, the original.
So now let me getting to be onto more serious topics. What are the insights that you obtained in the course of your military career about people, about men? So what are the most important lessons that you've learned on the battlefield?
I think there are two kinds of lessons you learn. First of all, there are all the military lessons you learn, which is good when you're a soldier, but when you're not a soldier anymore, they are basically useless. And then I think the more important lessons, and I also wrote that in my book, are the lessons how you view life and how you deal with stress, how you can combat and overcome your fears. I think this is something I took away from the war, which still helps me, you know. I mean, it's very difficult to stress me out, you know, or to make me nervous, you know, because you have that calmness. I think it comes from the war, you know, and there are techniques. This is nothing, you don't have to fight in a war to learn how to stay calm when you're under stress. But there are techniques.
So suppose you're not in the Balkans and you need to learn the Roland Bartetzko stress reduction techniques. Do you have to go to find a place where you have, like, let's say, a Serbian restaurant and you have Croatian waiters with Kosovan bartenders?
I think I've read about this, you know that. And
I have fights with all these people and arguments and breaking plates.
No, you don't have to do that. You know, it's not recommendable. No, I think, I mean, I know we're joking now, but I think it's all a mental thing, you know. I mean, fear is something you can conquer, you know, and that I saw, I mean, and there's no bigger fear than the fear of death, you know, and what you see on the battlefield, you know. And if you conquer the fear on the battlefield, if you're able to intellectually overcome this fear, then you can do everything in life, you know. I mean, there's nothing more difficult, man. That's the biggest fear. If you're not afraid of death anymore, you're not afraid of anything anymore, and then you are free man, you know. I think.
Well, you always
Go ahead.
I
think what keeps us in chains is our fears, you know. We are afraid of everything, you know. Of course, I mean, there's so much pressure in modern society, and we often forget what's really important, you know.
Right. So how did you lose fear? Or did you go into the German army fearless?
No. I was like everybody else, you know. I mean, when I was a paratrooper, the first time you learn to deal with your fears when you jump out of an aircraft, you know. I mean, this is
when you jump out of what? A helicopter or a plane?
Everything, you know. C-130s. I also made the American parachute course, you know, in Aviano in Italy with the 82nd Airborne. And I jumped out of everything: Chinooks, Hueys, C-130s, then the German aircraft, you know, MH-53 helicopters, Stallions, everything, you know. And this is a good training. I think this is the reason why paratroopers are more fearless than other troops, you know. Yeah. That's what people saying, because they learn to combat their fears when they jump out of a plane. And there are a lot of people. I had a master sergeant in the German army. He was a real bad guy. But when we had to jump, he was so scared, you know. And the old guy, he had more than 100 jumps. He was still afraid of jumping, you know. But this guy, he was so afraid. He was always in a bad mood. He couldn't go into his office when there was a jump day the next day, you know, because he was so angry at everyone, because he was afraid and nervous. But still, he could cope with that, you know.
Wow, amazing, huh? What a story. 100 jumps and he's still scared. Well, let me ask you a
Yeah,
question.
yeah.
How were you? Go back to your first jump. Was it out of a plane, a helicopter?
There was a
Was it
plane.
a parachute?
We had an old American type T10 parachute, which is a very bad parachute. Thankfully, no
Which
army
one?
is jumping with them anymore. This is some, some static line, automatic parachute. You can't steer them. And very fast. You're very fast on the ground. And then the jumping actually isn't the worst thing with parachuting. The worst thing is the landing, because you go down like a stone, and it's very dangerous. If you don't have the correct technique, you can easily break your legs or something else, And when we jumped later with the American, with the 82nd, they had better parachutes, so it was so much easier. They were a little bit slower, and it was almost enjoyable, but not with the jump. It was very bad,
Right.
And I was in jump school. I made 5 jumps, and you get a badge, and it was from an aircraft. You jump out of it. It's a Transall. It's like a C-130. And that goes very quickly, 400 kilometers an hour. You jump out of, just drive 100 kilometers with your car and put your hand out, out of the window. You see how much force there is, And then imagine you jump out of an aircraft which flies 400 kilometers an hour. It's like somebody is beating the shit out of you, And then you have very, very few times. You have only a few seconds until you land, It's really, there's no enjoying the nice view or something like that,
Yeah.
You get out and then you have to be
out
careful. You have your backpack. You have to lose your backpack. You can't land with your backpack. It's in front of you. You have to throw it away, basically. It's still attached with a line. And it's just work. You have 30 seconds in the air. It's just work, You have to see that you don't land. You can steer them a little bit, these parachutes, that you don't land on a hard ground or on a car or in a tree or something, Can happen.
Right. So let me ask you a question. Let's go back to your first jump.
Yeah.
You said what plane did you jump off of?
It's a German transport plane. It's a C-160 Transall. It's comparable to a Hercules transport plane.
Right. So then you jumped out of that, and how many meters height?
400 meters is the height,
So that's you had a line that automatically opened the chute, right?
Yeah. You hook in a plane. There's this wire. You hook in the wire, and then you just jump out the plane. The parachute opens automatically, and then you're out. It's very easy.
Right. So how did you get over the fear? You must have been scared.
Yeah. I wasn't. This funny thing is, the first jump I wasn't scared. Nobody was scared because we didn't know what was expected. We didn't know what will happen. But the second one, everyone was scared, because you see it's really bad. You jump out and you fly through the air like you have no power over what you're doing. You can't. I mean, the parachute opens. You hope, and that's all you can do. Hope that everything is okay. Then you hope that there's no obstacle on the ground. And then the second jump, I was really scared. And then the third, fourth, fifth was the same. And then I didn't jump for about 2 months because I went back to my unit and we had no jumps for 2 months. And then after 2 months, we had another jump. And then I was really scared, of this jump because there was such a long waiting time. It's always like this because it's better if you jump every day, you lose your fear because you're getting used to it, But if there's a lot of time in between the jumps, it was always bad, Now imagine that old sergeant in my company, he was afraid for 20 years,
Wow,
I mean,
they're
amazing, always,
huh?
I mean, this is bad, I mean,
I guess maybe
I have to jump next month, shit,
Maybe he should go into a guy like that really has to consider, maybe I should have gone into the Navy.
Yeah. I think so
if
too.
He can't swim?
No, as a parachuter, you have to swim too, because you can land in a lake or something,
Sure.
You have to swim. Yeah. No, it was like this. I don't know. He came from a village near the camp, so he didn't want to go to serve somewhere far away from his mother, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, sure. So now, So what other insights did you obtain that are useful outside of the military life, but that you learned in the military life? What other insights?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, practical things. I mean, aside from practical things, what I told you before. I mean, I think I changed my attitude. I have a more better positive attitude towards life. I am more fearless. I wouldn't say I'm without fear, because it's not good either. You know, when you have no fear, you act stupid. But
sure.
I think I'm more relaxed. You know, I think I will live 100 years because I'm not making myself any stress. You know, it's a stress-free life. You know, because
do you fear?
Sorry?
Do you fear death now?
No. Maybe sometimes, but most of the time not. You know, really, no. I don't want to brag or something. That maybe that sounds a little bit like bragging, but I mean that was the point of the whole thing. You know, because. I mean, nobody forced me to go to war. It was my country that was attacked. You know, I went there to gain some experience for myself. You know, to learn something. And I mean, there are people that fight more that didn't learn anything. There are maybe people who fought less and know more about the things. But for me, it's okay. I gained this experience, and I try to use it in my everyday life. You know, and I think it's successful. You know. And you become maybe more modest, you know. I'm not interested to become a rich man or something, because I see it's worth.
It'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, of course. But I'm happy like I am. You know, as long as I have enough money in my pocket to buy myself a beer and eat enough, you know, that's enough. You know, I am not.
So So let me ask you a question. So here, you know, you're from Germany. A very modern country, a very high standard of living.
Yeah.
You fight in the Balkans and Bosnia and different places.
Yeah.
Kosovo. I mean, so didn't you want to go back to Germany? And
yeah, actually, I am at the moment in Germany, you know, because
I know that.
Yeah, I'm now here since 1 month, and I'm asking me this question every day, actually, you know, because I'm now back in Germany. I'm back into that mentality. And honestly, no thanks, you know. I like the Balkans because it's more relaxed. People are more relaxed. And,
where?
In the Balkans, they're much more relaxed, you know. I am more open, more friendly. And I'm used to that, you know. And
sure.
Maybe
and how are the Germans? How are the Germans? How do you characterize them?
They're straightforward people. They don't lie. They are workers. I mean, these are good things, you know. What's bad about them, or what I don't like about them, they're not so communicative, you know. Like the Balkan people, they talk with everyone, you know. They make friends with everyone. The Germans, they are a little bit more reserved, you know. And I think they put too much emphasis on working. Also, it's good for them because it's a rich country, but there are more things than just, you know, going to the office every day from 7 to 9. You know, they should relax a little bit more, the Germans. You know.
So basically, you were in the Balkans for a number of years when there was the war, and then you studied law in Pristina.
In Pristina, in Pristina University, yeah.
So you studied there, and then I guess you decided after the war that you just liked it.
Yeah, and my wife, you know, because that too, because she's from there, you know. So I mean, I had to make a decision if I want to go back to Germany or stay in Kosovo with my wife, you know. So
did she want to go to Germany?
Yeah, she wants. Now she wants, you know, because Kosovo, to be honest, no, in the beginning not, you know, because we all had great hopes that Kosovo will become, like you said, the Switzerland of the Balkans, you know, but it didn't.
Yeah.
And it basically became just another Balkan country like every country else there. And now, okay, now
Right.
she wants to know. Of course, everybody wants. In the Balkans, you won't find someone who doesn't want to go to Germany, you know. Everybody wants. It's a little bit sad, you know. But
Yeah.
because,
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand the young people there, you know, they learn, they have a diploma in university in Kosovo, and they can't find a job, you know, what they can do. They can only go to Germany. There are no jobs there.
Right. You were what, in Germany or in Kosovo?
No, in Kosovo. In Kosovo. And the only thing a young person from Kosovo can do is to go abroad, America or Germany.
Wow. So, and your wife, did she go with you this time on the trip or no? She's
No,
back in Kosovo.
I was just on a business trip to Zurich, to Switzerland, for only 2 days, you know. And then I wanted to return immediately because I just had to sign some documents and for the company. And then I wanted to return immediately to Pristina, to Kosovo. But then in the meantime, they closed the airport everywhere. You know, that was here really 1 month ago. In 48 hours, all European countries closed their borders. And there was no more traveling. And there was so many people like me stranded, you know. And the Germans too. The Germans that were in Spain, they couldn't go back to Germany. The Spanish people were in Germany, they couldn't go back to Spain. It was a nightmare, you know. And now, slowly, it's getting better. You know, there are some flights. I hope I will catch a flight next week, maybe to Pristina.
So, all right. Now, talking about everybody wanting to go to Germany, Erdogan has threatened that he's going to. He has like about approximately 4 million refugees, and he's spoken about the possibility of just flooding Europe with millions of refugees going through Greece. What do you think about all that? What should be done?
I think it's just a bluff from him, you know. I mean, I think he's bluffing. I don't think there are so many refugees there. And I let them come. I mean, I think that most of the refugees, they're already in Europe. So, I mean, so if there are a few more that you won't even realize that, you know. I don't think that there's anybody.
Well, yeah, but last time thousands.
Yeah, I know that. And they made a deal with him. They gave him money. He can't do that, you know. And he knows that because he's dependent financially. He's dependent on the European Union. I think he's just for enough consumption, you know, because he has some problems with his own people, and then he tries to play the strong man or something. I don't know, but. At the moment, we don't have a refugee problem in Europe. I mean, every border is closed at the moment. I mean, even I can't travel, you know, with my German passport. I mean, there's nobody coming to Germany at the moment. The borders are closed everywhere, you know. So at the moment, as long as this pandemic is going on, he can forget to send anybody there. You can't come via land from Turkey to Europe. It's all closed. There are no ships. There is an ocean. You can't go there. Oh, I think let's see what's happened next year. I don't
know. So now looking at your future on Amazon, are you going to write another book, Roland?
I already wrote another book, but it's still not published. But I hopefully I will publish it when I come back to Kosovo. You know, I think. You can expect it maybe in 1 month or so on Amazon, you know. But it's something else. Yeah. It's finished. I wrote it. I wrote it in both. I wrote it in German and I wrote it in English, and it's finished in both languages. So,
can I ask the title? What's the title? Or is it a secret?
My working title is The Pilgrim, but it's just a working title, you know. But it's a novel. It has. Yes, it's a pilgrim. It's a kind of a modern pilgrim. It's a story of a modern pilgrim, somebody who is really on a pilgrimage, how you say, from one holy city to the next. But it's a novel, and it has nothing to do with Kosovo. So something else. I wanted to.
So what are the cities?
Yes.
So it's an interesting idea. So what are the cities where the pilgrimage?
Oh yeah, I tell you, it starts in Cologne in Germany. Then the next city is Paris, Then the next city is Lourdes. I'm sure you know about Lourdes.
Of course.
Yeah.
I was baptized in the church and married in Our Lady of Lourdes Church
So
in the United States. Yeah, in my
and I've been to Lourdes several times, so I know the place where I could use it in my book. So
really.
And then the next place. Oh yeah, there's also a chapter in Sarajevo, in Medjugorje,
really,
in Jerusalem, and in Rome.
Wow, so this is interesting.
Yeah. And the guy is really going there, and he's meeting people who are religious. He meets people in Lourdes, and he meets believers, he meets non-believers, he meets priests, he meets people, atheists, and it's more. And this guy is on a journey, and it's like he's on a physical journey. I mean, he's really moving from one city to another, but at the same time, he's also on a spiritual journey. I mean, he's changing his thoughts about religion, because I don't want to, don't want to spoil now my book, the surprise.
No, we don't want to. No, we don't want to do that.
Intellectual development,
Yes, that's all right. No, that's okay.
Yeah. And the guys.
But I understand. No, we don't want to let the cat, as you say.
But I think it's a good book. I hope everybody likes it. I will tell you when it's.
Of course, we have to have another interview. So
it's very nice. I like. I mean, I'm always my biggest critic. I think I wouldn't publish anything which I'm not 100%. I don't have to publish anything. It's not that I do that for a living. So if it's not 100%, I won't publish it. But I really like it. So
good,
I hope you like it too. I will send you a copy.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you a question. Since you mentioned Medjugorje and you were in Mostar,
yes.
What do you think about what's happening what has happened in Medjugorje?
I don't know actually, because the Catholic Church officially they don't recognize what happened there. You know that because it's not officially a recognized pilgrimage place of the Catholic Church. So I mean, I'm a Catholic, and I've been there, and I've been to Lourdes, I've been to Jerusalem, I've been to Santiago de Compostela, and for me, to be honest, this is all the same. I had the same feeling in every place, So if there's nothing in Medjugorje, then you can be sure there's nothing in Lourdes or in Santiago either, I think so.
Right.
But this is a personal thing, this is not a science, you can't prove it. And I think it's for every believer to decide what they want to believe in. And if people believe in Medjugorje, and I think there's no harm done going there, and praying in Medjugorje.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
I think people should go there. I mean, they should, even if the Catholic Church said it's nothing there, so it's no harm.
Well, something.
There been decide for yourself. Make up your mind. So I like the place. And I wrote about. I don't spoil my book, but it's very interesting. That chapter about Medjugorje, I think.
The people get along. I hear that the Bosnians and the Herzegovinans and the Montenegrins and the Croatians, they get along. Mm-hmm. The Albanians, they get along there because of the Virgin, the Mother of Jesus, unites her children. She doesn't care.
I mean, this is universal. I mean, you can use faith or religion for good and for bad, Sure. And if you use it for good, then it can bring peace, And sure. I think there is some kind. I mean, the good thing in Albania, Kosovo, Croatia, and Montenegro, I think too, is that religion has contributed more for the good than the bad. In Serbia, not. In Serbia, it's a different thing. But most Balkan countries, the church has done something good, So,
sure.
I mean, really,
Did you have any?
It's easy to blame the church for everything, but if you see in reality, it's not like this. I mean, I've seen Caritas, for example, which is a Catholic aid organization. I saw them working in Bosnia, I saw them working in Kosovo. For me, that was the best humanitarian aid organization from all of them. They're much better than the Red Cross or United Nations or somebody else. You know? They did a great job, and they did it for 10% of the salary. They worked only with locals, you know. They didn't have anybody who had thousands of dollars salary a month going there. And that was great, you know, and that was from the Catholic Church.
No, that's
everyone. They had everyone. They had the Bosnians, the Muslims, the Catholics, the Orthodox, and this is good. Now, this is how the church can bring peace, you know, if you have everyone, regardless of his religion.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Not just the ones who are Catholics or Serbian Orthodox or Albanian Orthodox. Right. Now, it's a good thing. But, you know, in combat, did you learn to pray? Did you pray a lot when you were in combat?
I didn't pray. No, I didn't pray, to be honest. No. And I have a lot of friends who prayed, you know, but I didn't pray. No. I never prayed. I think it wasn't. I mean, maybe I would have prayed but it was, I mean, when I was in combat, I had no time to pray. There was no time, you know, and then later you do something else, you know. I know some people prayed. I saw a lot of Croats praying before combat, you know, before they went into combat, they were praying. But I didn't do it, you know, because I didn't pray before, and that is some kind of hypocrisy, you know, when you start praying just 1 hour before you go into combat. You haven't prayed the whole month, and then you start praying 1 hour before you might die, you know. This is some kind of, it's not very honest, you know.
Well, I don't know about it. You know what it is that
I don't know. I mean, it's you know,
it's like this, Roland. It's like okay, I have to clean. I have to change the oil in my car. I haven't done it in a long time, but I'm going to do it now because the car's about to break down or the engine's going to light on fire.
I mean, Bill, I understand you. I understand your point of view, but it's like personal thing, you know. I mean, when you're in combat, everybody thinks differently, you know. So. Sure. I think it's no harm done not praying, but you can pray, and you can still die, you know. You never know.
Yeah, no, it's true, but well, you know, I think the point of praying is not so much whether you die or live, but
of course
you don't want to die, but to do things according to His plan.
I mean, you do that for your inner peace, you know. You do that to cleanse your soul or. And it has nothing to do with your performance, your combat performance, or what will happen, the outcome, you know, of course.
Well, that's for another conversation, another interview to talk about your book about the pilgrimage.
That we do, certainly.
Yes, in the meantime, all the people in Quorum and others have to get the book, The Smell of War, Lessons from the Battlefield by Roland Bartetzko. And Roland, you know, I didn't ask you. Do you have a website?
Not anymore, because I wasn't in Kosovo anymore, so I didn't have it anymore. But they can follow me on Quora, of course, you know.
Yeah, right. In Quora, Roland Bartetzko, and just so you know, you spell Bartetzko BARTETZKO. Is that right? Did I get it right?
That's
Roland?
right. Yeah, that's correct.
BARTETZ like zebra, KO. Roland Bartetzko. Great. The fantastic book, The Smell of War, Lessons from the Battlefield. Roland, thanks a million for being on Quorum Radio. And we got to have you on again to talk about your book. Yes.
Thanks a lot, Bill. That was great. Thanks a lot for the interview.
Hey, my pleasure. Blessings to you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Bye.